I saw an article in the New York Post about a girl that almost died after a contraception pill caused a blood clot in her lung, and I wanted to talk about the topic of contraception. I am not a fan of the pill. Not for religious reasons or anything like that, but think about it. It's just not healthy. It's a drug loaded with hormones that mess with your reproductive organs. The hormones prevent pregnancy by stopping the ovaries from releasing eggs. Cervical mucus thickens so sperm can't enter, and the thinning of the lining of the uterus so implantation can't occur. I mean, it's all so strange. And as a woman, there is nothing more precious on my body that I want to protect than my uterus and overall reproductive organs. So why would I want to mess with it? In the Post article, a law student describes her ordeal of almost dying after only taking the pill for 3 months. She ended up collapsing and couldn't breathe, the result of a blood clot caused directly by taking the pill. She was given blood thinning medication that she needs to stay on for a year. She said, "Thankfully, I haven't had any problems since. Because the clot was on my lung, if I had waited any longer, anything could have happened. I would have had a stroke if I had waited any longer and may have even died." She is now taking a different pill, which she says seems to be fine. I just want to warn other women and encourage them to be careful and to go straight to the doctors if they have any unusual symptoms at all. Now, after having that experience, I don't know why she feels the need to continue taking a contraception pill, just a different brand of it. I mean, what is wrong with just using condoms? What is wrong with having a natural menstrual cycle? I remember years back there was this new hormonal contraception called Yaz, and I remember it because I cannot forget the class action lawsuit commercials that played on TV around that time. The company behind it, Bayer, says that they stand by their product and was not very happy that the courts approved the lawsuit. A class action suit does not imply guilt. However, I think it is very important to look at some of the facts about the case in regard to the pill in general. CBC News reports that doctors and pharmacists say Yaz and Yasmin are suspected in the deaths of the women who mostly died suddenly from blood clots. According to the documents obtained from Health Canada between 2007 and February 2013, doctors and pharmacists have reported 600 adverse reactions and 23 deaths where Yaz or Yasmin were suspected. More than half of the reported deaths were women under 26, with the youngest age 14. Most of the deaths reported occurred soon after starting the pill. 14 years old. Why is a 14-year-old prescribed birth control? These women were far too young to have died, and those that did survive need to take blood thinners for the rest of their lives. And it is not just blood clots. There is a risk of cancer. According to cancer.gov, studies have found that the pill increases the risk of breast cancer and cervical cancer. They said studies showed that overall, women who had ever used oral contraceptives had a slight 7% increase in the relative risk of breast cancer compared with women who had never used oral contraceptives. Women who were currently using oral contraceptives had a 24% increase in risk that did not increase with the duration of use. Risks declined after use of oral contraceptives had stopped, and no risk increase was evident by 10 years after use had stopped. In 2017, a large prospective Danish study reported breast cancer risks associated with more recent formulations of oral contraceptives. Overall, women who were using or had recently stopped using oral combined hormone contraceptives had a modest about 20% increase in the relative risk of breast cancer compared with women who had never used oral contraceptives. The risk increase varied from 0% to 60% depending on the specific type of oral combined hormone contraceptive. The risk of breast cancer also increased the longer oral contraceptives were used. Now, it is important to note that the study also finds a decrease in ovarian and endometrial cancer in people who use the pill. But let's look at the stats. Breast cancer rates are about 1 in 8, 12.4%. Cervical cancer was one of the most common causes of cancer death, but due to regular pap smears, it gets caught pretty early. So there really aren't too many numbers for that, but it was the worst prevalent cancer you can get. Ovarian cancer is about 1 in 78. That's only 1.28%. Endometrial cancer, uterine cancer, is 2.9%. In other words, breast cancer and cervical cancer are far more prevalent than ovarian and uterine. And the pill will only increase your chances of getting those cancers. On top of cancer, you can develop blood clots. So the risks seem to outweigh any benefits of hormonal birth control. Why not let your reproductive organs just run its natural course the way it's supposed to? Why pump hormones to mess with them and possibly develop cancers and other health issues? If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, like and subscribe.